glad to be here. We're just glad to be back and have a place to do our homework and to sleep in our own beds.
Absolutely. And there you got Brock Whitney over there at first base. I'm not sure there's a better first base fielder in the conference here. He really covers a lot of ground. You'll see him go to his left as well as his right. He can get foul balls. Very, very good speed over there. Excellent defensive first baseman. Here's Major Leagues, a player that both pitches and hits.
Whitney over to grab that down the line, and 1 out for BYU, so Lekic 0 for 2.
Runner. He's got a very strong arm. Played quarterback in high school, Spanish Fork High School. He was a good one.
5 runs, 7-2, trying to get their first winning at San Diego as West Coast Conference foes.
Filling in and playing this season.
Another hard hit ball up the middle from Whitney. And Starr will head to third base, standing up. Runners on first and third with 2 outs. Can BYU the 9-hole, including a 2-run home run. Also has a stolen base. Brock Whitney handles that sharp grounder.
That shows
comes over.
Boy, that shows the range of Whitney there. That was looked like it was going through for sure. And Whitney moves very well to his right. It looked like a little gapper right there, but Whitney just gets his glove on it. Perfect angle that time by Howard as he approaches the bag at first. You'll notice the pitcher first you head up the line and then you start coming straight up the line so you don't cut the runner off there. And then they get the speedy holder. And now he's over there at second.
Nelson has it and throws to first. So
he tried to help Parker in every way he can when Dillon's out of the game. So the Cougars are just trying to find the friendships and the niches, and there you go for the first extra base hit of this game for the Cougars.
Brock Whitney lines a double down the left field line. That was 1 out, so BYU with a runner in scoring position. Well hit ball off of Louis Lekic.
And that was a low pitch too. That was not a bad pitch by Lekic, and you can see that Whitney just gulped it down the left field line for a stand-up double.
2 strikes on Connor Joe, 1 out. Mercado hit at first base, and he gets Joe to pop up. Brock Whitney calls off his teammates, and there's out number 2.
Brock Whitney's a very good fielding first baseman, has a lot of range. You'll see him on that pop fly. That was about 10 feet away from Jarvis. But watch how far Whitney comes in to get this. Wind kind of blew that back into the field. Whitney makes a good catch. You'll see him at times go into the outfield to make catches from first base. Good fielding first baseman.
And Brock Whitney, a very, very solid player. A lot of experience on this BYU team. Opportunity here for BYU to put some more runs on the board. Their only 2 came in the bottom of the 4th, and Whitney, on cue, delivers a single into center field. Brendan Lund will score with that speed easily from second base. Runners on first and third. It's
10 hits tonight. Afternoon, I should say. It feels like night. There's a nice piece of hitting that time by Whitney. The ball's a little low and outside, so he takes it to the right side, just over the jump of the second baseman, and no throw there for Lekic, just getting it in, and Cougars are on the board again.
The Utah and BYU baseball teams playing tonight at Smith's Ballpark. The Cougars beat the Utes by 23-3 earlier this month. Better gained another run in the 7th inning, but BYU got those runs back in the 8th. Brock Whitney with a drive to the gap in left center field. Off the wall, Braden Anderson go down hard after he ran into the wall. Dylan Robinson and Andy Isom score for BYU, tying it up at 3. That's the score right now in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Bunts, first base side, coming home Whitney. The throw to the plate, not in time, and unable to hold on to it, the catcher Amijo.
BYU and Utah on the diamond squeeze play, giving the Cougars a go-ahead run, and they outlast the Utes 4-3 in 11 innings. I suppose it's progress for Utah, considering they lost 20-3 last time they played the Cougars.
Jumping to the end, BYU down 3-1 in the 8th when Brock Whitney drives the ball to deep left center. Utah outfielder goes back, but drops the ball after hitting the wall. Whitney goes in the second for a stand-up 2 RBI double, and we're all tied up. Woo, daddy. Utes load the bases in the bottom of the inning, but Brandon Kister gets out of it with a KO. Still tied at 3. In extra innings now, Whitney on third, and here comes the squeeze. Whitney charges for home, and he's safe. The Utah catcher could not hold on for the tag, and that ends up being the winning run. It ain't 20-3, but any win against your rival is a good one. Cougars win it in extras, 4-3.
Of over 400. Sullivan pops that up to first base. Brock Whitney over to chase that, and Whitney has it for out number 2.
That's one thing about Brock Whitney, the first baseman. He has tremendous range. You'll see him during the season go out to right field to catch balls. He'll go down the line to run them down. He'll scoop. He's got a great glove to scoop and save his infielders from bad throws. Very good defensive player for first baseman over there for BYU. That's Whitney.
Yeah, got a great frame for it. 6'3", 210 senior out of South Jordan, Utah, and Bingham High School. Bunting down the first base line. Brock Whitney will beat him to the bag. Sullivan argues the call.
That was a bang-bang play. Now, if we had a replay and could show it to the umpires, we'll see what you would. You make the call on this. You can see Whitney's got good speed, and as he touches the bag, just ahead, I believe, of Tyler Sullivan. I think that was a good call. Bang-bang play, good hustle by Sullivan, and a great play by Whitney.
Another base hit, this one from Brock Whitney. Robinson will score 4-0 BYU. They've scored a run in all 3 innings they have batted.
Coming to the plate, the right fielder.
So Whitney now 1 for 2 with a 2 RBI.
And that was not a bad pitch by Benson. It was a curveball outside part of the plate. Robinson sees the hit. As a batter, you love it with less than 2 outs and a runner on third.
You know, it is. I mean, you'd think we've had a bunch of games that you'd think we would turn the corner and get rolling, like the Utah 20-3 game. And
out his last at bat. To short, Nielsen with a good throw, and that's what
Coach Littlewood says. Now watch this. Catch it, plant your right foot, and throw immediately. And the tall target over there, Whitney. What Coach
BYU, they're going to go with the senior, Brock Whitney. He's a guy that needs to step up and lead a rather young team if they have any shot at getting into the top 4.
Yeah, good point, Spencer, because Brock went 7 for 19 over the last 5 games and had a 13-game hitting streak that ended against UC Santa Barbara. But he leads the team in hits and runs scored. He's batting .353, which is second on the team in batting average, and he plays an outstanding defensive first base for the Cougars.
Game prep. Payoff pitch. Grounded weakly to pitch. Polson barehanded over to Whitney, and that was a really tough play made to look easy by Desmond Polson. A couple of tough plays he's made from the mound to record crucial third outs. We're through the top of the 5th. 0-0. Lions and Cougars continue next on BYU TV. Fletcher goes down to get that little bloop single down, or bloop shot down the right field line. Brock Whitney back from first base to grab that.
Hit sharply to first. Brock Whitney very sure-handed with the glove. 1 away.
Good jump on this ball, but Whitney never hesitated. Read it very well. Miller comes in, no chance, because by the time Miller even touches the ball, Whitney's rounding third. Nice base running, nice speed, and a good slide.
Now Kinzer. Another weak infield fly ball, and right to Whitney. And a
90 on the season. Down the first base line, mishandled by Whitney, but he throws over to Barker. Is it in time? Yes. Lamb punched out. A 1-2-3 inning for Barker. West Coast Conference Baseball on BYU TV. Brock Whitney just beats the runner to the pitcher. Brock Whitney corrals that easy grounder, and crisis averted for Jeff Barker. Hit to Nielsen at short. Tough bounce, long throw, and Whitney scoops it up in his glove. So Barker gets out of the jam again. We head to the bottom of the 4th, just over an hour into this game. Hayden Nielsen, shortstop extraordinaire, getting it done on the defensive side. We're back with WCC Baseball after this. on the way. Hit down the first baseline. Brock Whitney flips it over to Rogers and BYU. Fastball line back up the middle, and there's the first base hit for BYU. It comes from one of their senior team co-captains, Brock Whitney.
Nice piece of hitting that time by Whitney. Fouls off a tough pitch. And this pitch, he just goes right up the middle with it. Low pitch, but he drives it right up the middle. Out of the range of Gonzalez.
It can be ugly. Coaches just want to win games. That's fouled up, and opportunity. Whitney coming all the way over from first base to make that grab.
Now that shows the speed of Whitney. That's unbelievable. He's the first baseman. He catches it on the third base foul line. You're not going to see this very often. Here he comes, charging in. Three guys are diving for it. Whitney gets it off the very end of his glove, just barely. You can see a lot of, like a snow cone right there. Barely gets it, brings it in. And I'll tell you what, if you ever see a first baseman make a catch on a bunt foul ball on the foul line side of a third base, show it to me. I haven't seen it in a while. Great play, Brock Whitney.
Mark that down as a potential Dexter and Dexter play of the game. One more look. Watch Brock Whitney make his way across the entire infield, charging that bunt and making the catch in foul territory.
And then what does he do? He knows what he's going to do ahead of time. He goes and covers third because the runner from second might be going down to third. So, heads-up play, Brock Whitney.
Crip joined on headset by BYU head coach Mike Littlewood. Coach, you got one run there in the bottom of the third, but really what stood out in the third was what your defense did in the top half of the inning. Brock Whitney coming all the way over from first base to make a catch in foul territory on the third baseline. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that.
You know, I keep saying Brock's the best first baseman I've ever coached, and that kind of proves it right there. I've never seen, I was just telling you guys during the break, one of the top 5 plays I've seen ever live, I think.
Well, we just won.
Caleb Wood 0 for 2. Chops that down the first baseline on a half swing. Brock Whitney and 2 quick outs in the top of the 5th.
Again, that's Whitney over there, first baseman. You can see his defensive ability. The check swing, but still, that a lot of first basemen would not get to that, and that would be an easy double for Caleb Wood, but not Whitney. Whitney has an outstanding range over there, first base.
Mike Littlewood said Whitney is the best first baseman he's ever coached. Brock Whitney playing the line with a pull hitter on, the left-handed Gonzalez.
And what a fun way to spend a Friday night. Bring the basketball team down to the baseball game.
Throw gets away at first base, and Brock Whitney will advance to third. Now headed to third base. And Brock Whitney, on an errant throw all the way over to third, hit a rocket down the third base line. And Brock Whitney at .339 on the season. Deep to left field, has a chance. Off the wall, and Whitney racing around first into second with a stand-up double. Another ball hit off the wall, and another 2-out hit for BYU.
It's unbelievable how these hits come with 2 outs, and they just don't score. This ball was almost out of here. We thought when it was hit, it had a chance. Look where it hits, about 3 feet up on the wall in left center field. That's about another couple feet, and that's a home run. We got a tie ball game. But here we are, 2 outs, and runner.
Relationships that change your life started at BYU. BYU alumni connected for good. Tonight's game changer for the Cougars, Brock Whitney. 4 hits, scored a run, had a couple of singles, and now leads his team in number of hits on the season. Congratulations to Brock. Whitney up the middle. Gonzalez with the stop. Can he beat it? Whitney gets down the line in time. Great stop by Mitchell Gonzalez. But Whitney has that long stride, and he'll take an infield single for hit number 4 from BYU.
He's a first baseman, but he's got a lot of speed. You can see the range here. Gonzalez, watch how quickly he gets to his feet. And throws a good, hard throw over to first, but the speed of Whitney legs it out. for a leadoff single here.
Curveball there from Sopko to Brock Whitney. Whitney lines that into the gap, and Eric Urey will score as that ball rolls all the way to the wall. Whitney has great speed. He will slow up at second. And an explosive bottom of the 6th inning for BYU in the meat part of their lineup. They lead 2-1.
The guy that just hit that, President Wortham, is on the unicycle club in high school. He drives a unicycle. Have you ever tried to drive a unicycle?
I have not tried that before, and I probably won't take that out.
Would unicycles be legal on campus to get around with? Have you ever faced that one?
You know, I don't think we've had that one yet.
I bet you. Runner goes, hit and run opportunity. Brock Whitney makes the catch. Makes the stop rather, flips over to first. There's one out. Retires Sam Brown, the center fielder.
But Sam Brown does his job. Look at how hard this is in front of home plate there. That's one hop, almost gets over Whitney's head. Makes a good play on it. Nice job of Springer covering the bag. That's almost over the head for a single, and first and third, nobody out. But nice play, nice flip.
For good, and it's Brock Whitney for a second night in a row. 2 hits, scored a run, had an RBI, his 12th double of the season. Congratulations to Brock Whitney. Another solid effort in a strikeout. Schumann goes down. Jarvis will collect and throw down to first. And a double play as the throw is made over to third base. Whitney
A number of plays. This is strike 3, but with first base open, you have to catch the last strike. So he checks, the catcher checks, and after he checks and throws the first, the runner takes off. Now Lopez throws a strike to Whitney covering third, and watch this tag. It's right on the money, just beats him by about a foot. And that's a double play. Strike him.
hit hard to third base. There's Whitney over to grab that. He'll throw to Lopez. Whitney up the middle, and that's a single. So Brock with his first base hit today.
Whitney came into this game batting .347. And you can see this pitch on a 3-2 count. It's kind of just a little bit above the knees, and Whitney just drives it right up the middle for his 62nd hit of the season, of the 60 ball games. There could be 3 victories today. It's not often you sweep a doubleheader. You might sweep a tripleheader against in-state rivals here in Larry H. Miller Field at Miller Park.
Brock Whitney with his second hit. Whitney now 2 for 4. Got the start at third base today out of his usual first base position to make room for C.J. Latham, the designated hitter. And Whitney records hit number 12 for BYU. They have 8 runs on those 12 hits.
Whitney came in.
BYU had a 9-3 lead going into the top of the 7th. Then the runner goes down the third base line with the hit and run on.
He doesn't send the runner. That's a double play ball. Whitney, who normally plays first base, you can see him over at third base now. This is made to order double play if that runner's not going. One hop shot to Whitney. He gets the ball. That would have been a double play, but he just throws over to first. Hunt gets the second, and they both did their job there. Hunt gets over on a hit and run.
And 8th innings, Gary.
Well, this is back-to-back for Utah because
Brock Whitney deep to left field. And there's one back off the scoreboard.
You just kind of get the feeling here that this game isn't over. And we were talking about this in the break, Spencer. You know, BYU got out to a lead and a couple runs there, and all of a sudden Utah's ahead. But in the bottom of the 8th, you got the bottom of the 9th for BYU, and down to 2 now. That was a home run by Whitney. That thing was shot out of here in a hurry. His second home run on the season. And boy, that was a rocket. That's something they haven't done very often to date off of Chapman. Look at that. Throws the bat, he knows it's gone. Watch the scoreboard. See where it hits. Boom. Breaks something off the scoreboard there. Hits the netting, I guess it was there. That was a crush. 4 strikeouts.
Series at Santa Clara 1. Base hit, Brock Whitney into center field. Eric Urey rounding second, and he will trot into third base. So runners on the corners with 2 outs.
Zapata's thinking, I don't want to walk Whitney. I don't want to get a runner in scoring position, so I'm going to throw a strike. and throws not a bad pitch outside part of the plate. Whitney just rips it into center field. But
Whitney on target with that one. He's 2 for 2 with a single, and this game is tied up as Yuri touches home plate. BYU taking advantage of 2 errors in the bottom of the third, and that one comes off a base hit from Brock Whitney.
Well, his job was to get the bat and the ball, and that was not a bad pitch by Zapata. Look at this location, curveball almost at the ankles, and Whitney still goes down and picks it up and drives it into center field for an RBI.
Whitney making a case as the MVP of this baseball team as a senior. Great piece of hitting right there to go down and get it.
He's got 2 more games here at Larry H. Miller Field. He'll play tonight, he'll play Friday night, and then Saturday will be his last game. And special time for seniors when you go into your last game, your last series. You have so many memories here. We'll remember Whitney as not only a great hitter, but one of the best defensive first basemen we've ever seen come into this park.
Some spectacular plays that we have witnessed on this field. Broncos with no outs in the top of the 4th. 2-2, all 4 runs combined have come in the 3rd inning. Bouncer to short. Nielsen goes to third high, but Whitney reaches for that, and there's 1 out.
That's the right play. You know, you want to get the lead runner whenever you can, and Nielsen was moving to his right. So when you move it to your right, you want to throw it to your right if you can. Right there. Just didn't set his feet well, but Whitney has good size over at third base. He's normally the first baseman, and corrals that in for the first out of the inning.
He's used to throws like that. It's his job to catch everything in the area, and he does that. 1 out. Kyle Zaplak now up.
Yeah, you might say he fielded that just like a first baseman would field that. Keep the foot on the bag and stretch as high as you can.
And here's Brock Whitney, 11 for 16 in his last 16 at-bats. 2 for 2 today. Whitney making 3 for 3. That's hit to the gap. Cut off, but Whitney has plenty of time to get to second. And Brock Whitney now 3 for 3 with 2 singles, an RBI, and now a double. 12 for his last 17.
And that's his team-leading 13th double on the season. And that was a really nice play by Woods in right field. This ball was hit, looked like a gapper. Got all the way between there. And that runs to the wall, and Woods doesn't cut it off. It's a triple. But nice play. Look at this. I never thought that Wood could get through that. But look at that extend down there. Woods gets it in quickly and holds Whitney to a double.
Brock Whitney continues to peak as his career as a BYU Cougar is nearing a close. This is the final homestand for Brock. Brock Whitney now up to the plate. 3 for 3 tonight with 2 singles and a double. And Whitney's now 4 for 4. Back-to-back RBI singles. 5-3, BYU leads as Eric Yuri scores. 13 hits for the Cougars, 5 runs, and the lead is now at 2 for BYU.
We just talked a few minutes ago about plating the runners. 5 runs. And you look at this replay here, Brock Whitney just hits a shot between third base and shortstop. No chance that time for Munoz to get the run from third to home. So
sharply to second. Sailed, but the tag applied by Brock Whitney as Parker Starr's throw got away. BYU survives almost another nightmare play right there as the senior Whitney jumps and applies the tag. 5 on it. Brock Whitney takes it 4 for 5 tonight. 2 runs batted in, and he scored a run. Started at third base tonight, went over to first base later after some position changes by Mike Little with the Brock. Really swinging the bat well. He's 7 for his last 10.
You see, Whitney had 4 hits, and I think Lund had 4 hits. Here's a shot of Whitney right here. That's a base hit up the middle. There's another one, a line drive up the middle. This one also goes up the middle.
Congratulations to Brock, our BYU alumni game changer. 4 hits, his third 4-hit game in his BYU career. That brings us to our Larry H. Miller post.
If there's an MVP on this BYU team, it'd be senior Brock Whitney on his final day here in Provo.
Yeah, Brock Whitney in this series, 5 for 7, 3 singles, a double, a home run, 3 RBI, and more importantly, he scored 6 runs. He's second on the team in batting at .367, and he's an outstanding defensive player.
Our game preparation is presented by
We wish them the best in the rest of this year.
Brock Whitney in his final game at home as a BYU Cougar.